So Being John Malkovich.
The first thing I was going to say is I really wonder if it started off about John Malkovich or if they had to find somebody.
That's one of the things I thought, and I looked that up, and apparently this is how it was written from the beginning, and it really makes sense because of
That's ballsy.
the kind of actor that John Malkovich is. Like it really works for him because he's a really great actor, but he wasn't in a lot of the mainstream kind of popular movies.
Really
this one kind of set off his career into a change of the different types of films he was doing, where he started getting in things that you now see him in things like Red and Warm Bodies, where he starts playing that character of John Malkovich. Before this, he's in Of Mice and Men and
I don't even because when he asked him you're from that one movie,
Empire of the Sun. So he was in really great movies. Death of a Salesman, that kind of more well-trained actor type movies.
Of Mice and Men, I think that's what he's known for.
Yeah, I think
before John Malkovich and Con Air.
Yeah, Con Air. I think that one that was 2 years before, so that's a lot.
You know what I remember?
That type of movie.
I remember in the movie when he's like, "So can I be in anybody's head?" He's like, "They're like, no, John Malkovich." Perfect. That's my second choice.
What's his first choice? I don't know. It was apparently. The story is that one of the producers, when he was shopping around the movie, when Charlie Kaufman was shopping this around, asked if they could change it to being Tom Cruise.
Oh, God, that
would have been terrible.
I was literally just talking to somebody on Saturday, and she said, what if they did it to somebody like Tom Cruise? And I was like, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, it just doesn't work at all, especially because the actor has to be good enough to play that kind of huge range. He wouldn't
be able to be funny either. I don't think Tom Cruise would be able to, because John Malkovich brought a humor to this character.
Yeah,
that Tom Cruise could never. No.
Yeah, especially because you need to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Which Tom Cruise he's done a bits of, and he's a great guy. He's great in the types of especially the action movies. That's where Tom Cruise really works. But this one, it I think really showed what he was capable of, what Malkovich was capable of. So let's see, how much did the movie make then? Oh, they changed his middle name in the movie.
What?
Yeah, the middle name that they use in the movie is different from John Malkovich's actual middle name, so it's just a little weird thing in there. I don't know. Budget was $13 million, and box office $32 million. So.
Because I can't really see this as being a movie where people would. I'm surprised it made that much.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you see more as getting a following afterwards.
Yeah.
Especially because this is the first movie from Spike Jonze. It's the Kaufman writing.
But it's not really like a date movie. It's not an action movie where you take your kids.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's so weird and awesome.
Yeah. This was the first movie from Charlie Kaufman. Who also did Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which we had talked about before. We've talked about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah. I gotta see that then.
Synecdoche, New York, yeah. I definitely recommend it. He was
Kung Fu Panda 2.
Script supervisor. So not writer, script supervisor. But Synecdoche, I really love that one. So it's the first film from these two directors, from the writer and director. So no one's heard of them before. People only know of John Malkovich, but again, they may think of him the same thing of, there's that guy from those movies, that Joel Steve movie.
That I don't really know.
Yeah, so people are kind of aware of him. It's not really box office smash written all over it.
Is that the one with Bill Murray?
Adaptation. Nicolas Cage.
I don't think I've seen this movie.
I went forward on it. It's kind of the follow-up to Being John Malkovich, and it's the semi-autobiographical movie about the creation of Being John Malkovich. I wish that one was on Instant Watch. I just want to discuss everything from Charlie Kaufman now.
Yeah.
Again, not Andy Kaufman.
Oh. But they're not related?
I don't think so.
Could be.
No. He's not the brother from...
He's a twin brother of Donald Kaufman.
Yeah. He's not Andy Kaufman as well. So and it's got a 90% from Metacritic score.
What is it?
Yeah, well, 90%. Let's see what.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
it's well received.
It has to be fresh, right?
Reception. There we go. 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. So.
This movie and Welcome to the Dollhouse was like the first like independent type movies where I thought this is totally different than anything I've ever seen, and Clerks, I guess too.
I mean, Clerks is very different because you didn't. I mean, I saw a convenience store movie before that.
Yeah. Shit ton of dialogue.
Just good, like in the stuff they're talking about. It's just that was a very different kind of thing. But this was the kind of because that one is a guy coming from working in a convenience store now making a movie about working in a convenience store. It was about his life. This is you're getting this.
Like I don't even know how you would start. Like who was like, let's make a movie. Okay, a doorway to somebody's mind. Let's make it John Malkovich.
I don't know how you get into this. I mean, you definitely see from Spike Jonze' perspective. And again, not Spike Jonze from Looney Tunes. So there's the animator Spike Jonze.
Oh,
Looney Tunes animator. So like same name, different person. Is it there's a songwriter at least? I don't know. There's other Spike Jonze.
Yeah, there's a rapper or something like that.
There's a lot of
or
Spike
producer.
Jonze. No, there's a songwriter from before. There's a lot of Spike Jonze in the world, but getting him from a music video world, and again, getting from Michel Gondry, who also worked with Charlie Kaufman, you get that visual ability. The people that they can make something just look unique and create this unique world from it.
I remember one of the things about this movie for some reason I really liked is when they were in John Malkovich and the sound, like everything was kind of like not quite echoey, but it's hollow-ish. It was like he's even like close. It's like
well, your eyes. Yeah, it's that kind of the inside your head voice.
Yeah, it was so well done.
Yeah,
and then when John Malkovich goes into John Malkovich.
Well, that's the thing of how do you see it, because you can't experience what he's experiencing if you're inside of him. You've now created this paradox loop.
Yeah.
So one possibility of it is John Malkovich explodes or implodes. Like something's got to happen, and so his mind just gets completely warped and twisted at that point. Because he's inside his own head, but his head is inside of his own head. So I like that they got that part in this, because if they didn't, like that's one of those questions that would be out there if they made this whole movie and never had him go inside his own head. That would be the first thought in anyone's head of what happens if he goes inside his own head.
I could see the posts.
Just going crazy on that. So yeah, you've got to cover that one. And of course, Tracy's like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it now. Get out of my head. As anyone would be if they're going inside your head. Why are you inside me? That's ultimate invasion of privacy there.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's just that they're seeing it. However, the thing that tips him off is that she says something, and he was it was her saying something or him saying it that tipped him off. I think it was the guy. It was when he was like, yeah.
And he's like, what the hell?
Yeah, because that's when he was able to notice, because it's not the words that he was choosing.
Yeah.
And he sees that as, or they, Cameron Diaz thinks that that's because he's a puppeteer, that he can have that better control over him because he's used to being a puppeteer. But the very first time that Cameron Diaz goes into his head, that's when she starts giving him the suggestion and saying, call her back.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll go meet her. And by saying it enough times, that gave him the suggestion to write it down.
Well, like when you're watching the movie, they make multiple times they say that you're kind of in their subconscious.
Yeah, so you're controlling the subconscious, and I think the later it gets in his life, that the more that you're able to control it. So it partially is because of how Cusack's able to do it, because he's willing it to it strong enough. But I think it's also the time that they're in there is able to do that, because the old people who are going in there are planning on doing that, planning on controlling him. But and then the child, when they get the child, they have no control over him. It's just at the time, and they're never going to be able to, because the personality is going to be too strong, because he doesn't have the subconscious build up.
I want to see who won for best screenplay. This is amazing.
Let's see. Oh, American Beauty.
American Beauty.
Yeah, that year you got American Beauty, The Matrix. Well, let's see what was nominated for Best Picture, because The Matrix wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
It was a screenplay. Or Best Director.
Yeah,
also.
Best Director. Sam Mendes for American Beauty won. That was the year M. Night Shyamalan was nominated for The Sixth Sense. If only he won Best Director.
And Best.
The only time he would ever be nominated.
American Beauty was good, but as far as director, dude, John Malkovich.
See, this was the thing, like, 1977, you get Annie Hall winning over Star Wars, and, because at the time, you look at those movies, you're like, Star Wars, it's a sci-fi movie, whatever, who cares about that, and not knowing the cultural impact that's going to come from it.
Yeah, screenplay.
Yeah, American Beauty, like, that one just sweeps.
It's it's a really good movie, but John Malkovich is amazing.
No, in hindsight, I think John Malkovich I would put way high over there. But you've also got Magnolia from Paul Thomas Anderson, The Sixth Sense. Maybe those ones took something away from it in the voting. I don't know. I was have to think about those things in there. Best, let's see, supporting actress was the other one.
Yeah,
it was Catherine Keener, and Girl Interrupted, Angelina Jolie won for that one. So, interesting. Sixth Sense just nominated in every category.
And I love one of the things I loved is how Charlie Sheen played Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
So when she's like, yeah, and she started saying some girl's name, he's like, oh man, that's hot. I was like, oh my God.
He was very Charlie Sheen, the one that we know now.
Especially now that we know about him, it was like, holy shit, this is really him.
Yeah, at the time you see him like those characters and stuff, but now you're like, okay, this is him playing himself. And I like the idea of the post after the old men have gotten into John Malkovich's head, and then he's fully taken over and saying, let's go, let's show you this portal that I got.
Oh yeah.
So we don't have to die. And then Charlie Sheen's gonna go into that portal with John Malkovich.
That doesn't seem fun though when you have one person in charge and you just
I don't know how it works then when you combine multiple people in there at the same time.
Yeah.
Someone else was in the head when John Malkovich was in there.
Mm-hmm.
So he went in with someone else, but that was the weird part where they're both in there at the same, where Malkovich is in there, so can't really control much of that. But at that point, the other people are just viewing anyway, so they don't understand. But I don't know. Maybe that's the part they didn't think of too much in there. Interesting that one of the producers on this was Michael Stipe from REM.
Oh, that's
Spike Jonze had directed an REM music video before that, at least one, maybe some more. So I think that's the connection for that.
Yeah.
But no REM song in this one.
Was there not?
I didn't see one
Soundtrack?
in that. Let's see the soundtrack. How many REM songs? There's a Bjork song. He also did a Bjork music video. Bjork. Another Bjork. It's just the same song. So no REM songs in there. Malkovich Masterpiece Remix, written by Spike Jonze, performed by John Malkovich.
You think that he would have a couple to hook up a homie?
Yeah. There's the interesting puppetry controlling of John Malkovich, where he's jumping around doing all that, which is the same as that first puppet show you see.
Yeah.
You see some really cool puppets in that. Apparently Cusack learned some puppetry before this to get to know it, which, of course you have to do that. It's always a story when they say, in The Pianist with Adrian Brody learning some piano, you're not going to do the full thing. They're still going to show someone else doing it.
Yeah.
Someone that's going to be better at it.
The
credits list of the puppeteer. Yeah. But you need to know a little bit of it. So it would be more of a story to me of this actor didn't learn any of the puppetry. Never learned a thing about it. That would be more of a story to me of an actor that doesn't care at all about it.
Method by ass.
Yeah. Whatever. Get someone else to do the hand part. I'm just going to stand there and do this. Just whatever.
Yeah.
And you get into it. But I didn't read about that about Malkovich getting into puppetry because he had to do little bits of things too. But
well, yeah. When they showed him teaching, then you see him when he does the fall and
that was so good. I like that he grew out his hair.
He's being such a douchebag. He's like, he's weeping, but you're not weeping.
It's so beautiful. I love that.
It's such a good movie.
It's so great, and you the whole that ending part when he's become John Malkovich and controlling him. It seems like that's going to be the end of it, and you've got it all. Everything's set for years after that, and then it's like, oh, now it's crunch time. Now they have to get in there because the old people don't want to die, and they've been working on this, and they've done it many times in the past. I don't know. At least 90 years ago, this is a down thing. Yeah. So he's done it a few times already.
Well, one thing when I was saying they were poking fun at Hollywood and stuff, when him and the chick sit down, they're like, "Look, I don't want to be known as the actor." He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it'll get done like when tomorrow." It was like, oh god, I hate all these people.
Yeah. And this was their first movie too, to say all that, like get all the inside Hollywood stuff. They worked in the industry before, but this is the first one they actually get made. This is listed as a comedy fantasy film. It's tough to.
I could see that.
It's always tough to get genres on certain movies.
For this one, I don't know. Yeah.
Because some movies you can just say, "Oh, it's an action movie. Oh, it's a comedy." But some of them, especially when you get into independent cinema, I think that's why independent gets labeled on things. Where you're like, it's. What kind of movie is like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? You're like, it's a romantic comedy. No,
I'd say romantic comedy. That one's easier to label than this one.
I don't know. That one's really tough because it's still a fantasy kind of thing, but like not fantasy, like swords and things.
Yeah, but this one is just off the wall.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I like when he's like, which letter becomes first.
One on the left isn't a letter. But I could trick you. I don't know what's up with that character because he's controlled by the old people at that point.
Yeah,
like he's been another batch of people, or at least one other person before, who seems odd at first, but then later he's completely in charge of himself.
That was weird.
Yeah, so I don't know what to make of that guy. Yeah. Released October 22nd, 1999, so towards the end of the year, all that artsy stuff starts coming out. I'd be excited. I'd like to see more from Charlie Kaufman. He's got other stuff in the works. The last thing he did, Synecdoche was the last big thing that he did. So now he's got upcoming release of Anomalisa, a full-length stop-motion animated film. I think his stuff would lend well to stop-motion.
Yeah.
And then Chaos Walking Trilogy.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't even know.
Yeah, the Dana Carvey show. Oh, Moral Oral.
Oh,
that makes sense now.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that does make sense. He worked on that one.
That was a good show, too.
So, Dana Carvey's show, The Edge, Get a Life. So he worked in television before this, writing.
Some funny-ass shit, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I really like Get a Life.
Yeah. So that was his first thing he worked on. Let's see, what did he do in Moral Oral then? Because I know that's Dino Stamatopoulos that wrote that one. But, not listed one of the main creators.
He's probably just a writer.
Yeah. So, yeah. Kaufman. Good stuff. Yeah. See more stuff like that. All right. Yeah. I think that's efficient.
Yeah, I think we
So we'll next week discuss Atorada.
That went so much better without the third whale.
Who's that? What third person?
He's gonna be so mad.
Thanks. He's not gonna watch this.
That's true.
Thanks for watching.